Die englische und deutsche Sprache funktionieren etwas anders, was Rechtschreibung und Zeichensetzung angeht. Regeln, die mal leicht und manchmal nicht ganz logisch sind. Aber mit unserer Hilfe und mit der von Sherlock Holmes lernst du ganz schnell, wie man es richtig macht. Rechtschreibung? Das ist doch nicht so wichtig. Auf die Inhalte kommt es an. Und die Briten und Amerikaner machen doch selbst jede Menge Fehler. Nicht ganz richtig. Richtig schreiben entscheidet nämlich darüber, ob man dich ernst nimmt oder für einen Sprachtölpel hält. Die gute Nachricht? Es gibt gar nicht so viele Regeln. Wir zeigen dir die wichtigsten.
Number 1. Singular and plural forms.
Hey, did you know? In London, there's a Sherlock Holmes museum at 221B Baker Street. Here you can learn all about one of the greatest literary detectives of all time, one who took his duties very seriously. Today it's all about witches and vampires. When I was a kid, I read Sherlock Holmes books while travelling on trains and buses. I'm sure this was why I sometimes had flashes of genius in English class. I had 2 big boxes, not full of toys, but full of books. Okay, das weißt du ja schon, dass im Englischen die Mehrzahl meistens gebildet wird, indem man einfach ein S dranhängt, wie zum Beispiel bei detectives. Oder dass aus dem Y in der Mehrzahl ein IE wird, wie bei duty, duties. Außer es steht schon ein Vokal davor, wie bei boy, toy, day. Dann bleibt's genau so. Boys, days, toys. Aber warum wird dann witch und box im Plural nicht mit S geschrieben? Weil sich das wahrscheinlich ziemlich komisch anhören würde. Witches, box. Deshalb wird bei Wörtern, die mit einem Zischlaut aufhören, also ch, sch, s, x oder s, immer ein ES angehängt. Also witches, buses, boxes. The tales often involve thieves and murderers wielding guns and knives. Fortunately, Holmes had skills that could rival those of the best police chiefs and sheriffs. Eine 100%ige Regel gibt's bei F am Ende leider nicht. Ein F wird im Plural meistens zu VES, wie thieves, knives. Ausnahme zum Beispiel chief, chiefs. Und manchmal geht sogar beides, wie scarf, scarves, scarves. Bei 2 mal F kommt wieder nur das S dran, wie zum Beispiel sheriff, sheriffs. Imagine the memos Sherlock might have written. He's definitely one of the world's most popular literary heroes. Here in London's Sherlock Holmes pub, you can find a nice collection of photos portraying the different actors who played the genius detective over the years. Einmal S, einmal ES. Auch hier gibt's leider keine eindeutige Regel. Als Orientierung bei technischen Dingen, wie zum Beispiel Photo, ist es meistens nur ein S. Wenn es 2 Vokale hintereinander sind, wie zum Beispiel bei Radio, dann ist es auf jeden Fall nur ein S. Radios.
Number 2. Ing form and past participle.
What a place! I was smiling the whole time. I imagined Dr. Watson sitting in front of the fireplace. He was living together with Holmes at Baker Street. All the visitors were tiptoeing through his bedroom, as if we were agreeing he must not be disturbed. Normalerweise kommt bei der Grundform des Verbs die Endung dran. Aber bei smile zum Beispiel ist es anders. Das hat nämlich ein stummes E am Ende und da hängt man dann einfach ausschließlich die Ing-Form dran. Smiling, living. Anders, wenn schon ein doppelter Vokal am Ende steht, wie zum Beispiel bei tiptoeing oder agreeing. Da bleibt das E erhalten. I've been travelling all over London, visiting museums, but nothing can be compared to this. Arthur Conan Doyle was truly committed to his work. I'm sure he would have loved visiting this museum too. After the tour, I stopped to write a message in the guest book and treated myself to a souvenir from the gift shop. Im britischen Englisch gilt, ein L wird immer verdoppelt. Travel, traveling. Im amerikanischen nicht. Travel, traveling. Andere Konsonanten werden nicht immer verdoppelt. Es kommt darauf an, wo das Wort betont wird. Wird die letzte Silbe betont, wie bei commit, forget, regret, dann wird verdoppelt. Committing, regretting, forgetting. Gilt auch für die Vergangenheitsformen. Regretted, forgotten, committed. Wird die letzte Silbe nicht betont, dann wird auch nicht verdoppelt, wie bei visit, visiting. Sprich dir das Wort leise vor, dann weißt du, wie es geht.
Number 3. Using capital letters.
Hey, thanks.
No problem.
Sherlock Holmes loved tea. Lapsang Souchong tea, to be precise, a Chinese blend. In the museum, there was a huge collection of Chinaware from all the UK TV shows. One of Sherlock's most famous cases is The Hound of the Baskervilles, and of course, there are some references to that murder mystery here in the Sherlock Holmes too, like posters and T-shirts. What a Sunday afternoon!
Das war doch eigentlich total leicht. Ei und Eigennamen groß, alles andere klein.
Groß geschrieben werden außerdem Einzelbuchstaben, die Bestandteile von Wörtern sind, wie T-Shirt, TV-Show oder Vitamin B. Dann alle Eigennamen, gilt auch für Titel und Länder. China und Chinese, British oder German. Es gibt aber auch Ausnahmen wie Chinaware, Porzellan. Das ist ein eigenes Wort geworden und wird deshalb klein geschrieben. Groß geschrieben werden auch Artikel, die Teil eines Namens sind, wie The Sherlock Holmes Pub. Außerdem alle Monate, Wochentage und Himmelsrichtungen wie January, Monday und North and South. So, bevor mein Beef Sandwich warm und mein Lapsang Souchong Tee kalt werden, noch die Zusammenfassung.
Singular and plural forms. Words ending with Y turn into IES in the plural form. Duty, duties. If the word ends in a vowel plus Y, just add S. Boy, boys. Nouns that end in a sibilant sound, add ES. Witch, witches. For nouns ending with F or FE, there is no fixed rule. Some form the plural by changing the final F form to VES, like knife, knives. Some form the plural by adding the letter S, chief, chiefs. Ing form and past participle. If the verb ends with an E that isn't pronounced, then you need to drop this final E before adding ing or ed. Smile, smiling, smiled. If the verb ends with a vowel plus L, then you need to double the L before adding ing in travel, travelling. But only in British, not in American English. If the verb ends with a single vowel plus consonant, and the stress is at the end of the word, you need to double the final consonant before adding ing or ed. You use a capital letter for the names of people, places, and related words. Britain and British, North, South, January, and Monday. Exception, some names have become common expressions, like Chinaware, and now take a lowercase letter. You also use a capital letter when words contain a single letter or capitonyms, like T-shirt or TV show.
There are many words with multiple meanings in the English language. Technically, almost every word has a double or triple or even more meanings. How often do you go into the dictionary to look up a word and find that only one meaning is listed next to it? Almost never. Many words have slightly varying meanings, or they can be used as different parts of speech. But today, I'll show you some words that have multiple meanings in a broader sense, where you should be extra careful. Number 1, spelling and context. So how can we tell which meaning is intended? Is it Crane the bird or Crane the machine? Or let's say a band that plays music compared to a band that you put in your hair. Or bow, as in a ribbon, compared to bow as in a bow and arrow. Well, usually the context of a sentence tells us which meaning is intended. But yeah, sometimes it could be a little ambiguous. For example, if someone says, "Hey, wow, look at the huge crane in the sky." That could technically work for either meaning of crane. But then you glance up and hopefully there's just one of those crane options up there to see, and that clears up what the person was talking about. Number 2, capitonyms, related. Okay, so we have China. That's a proper name for a country, so of course it begins with a capital letter. But we also have this type of china, a delicate ceramic material used to make cups and plates. This type of china actually comes from China originally, hence the name, but to distinguish the ceramic from the country, we spell this kind of china with a lowercase c. In these cases, the place name and the thing are related. China comes from China, bologna comes from Bologna, and champagne comes from champagne. Number 3, capitonyms not related. But in other cases, the meaning of the place name and the thing are unrelated. For example, we've got Turkey the country and Turkey the animal. Turkeys are native to where I'm from, but won't be found in the actual country Turkey. There's also kissing, the city you might have heard of in Germany, here in Bavaria, which, as far as I know, has nothing to do with actual kissing. Too bad. And a person from Poland is called a Pole with a capital P, whereas, of course, this kind of Pole does not get a capital letter at the beginning. Number 4, false friends, very dangerous. As you might have noticed, there are also some English words out there that are spelled the same or similarly to, and maybe even sound like a German word, but drive you crazy because the actual meaning is quite different. For example, the word I just used there, actual, sounds an awful lot like the German word aktuell if you ask me. But don't be fooled, because actual means real or existing as fact, whereas aktuell would be current or up to date in English. And a few years ago, I got my hair cut. What is it called when your hair hangs down over your forehead? No, it's not a pony on my forehead. They're called bangs. Well, bangs in the US and fringe in the UK. And what is this? This is a condom. No, this is not a preservative. A preservative is what is in foods so that it lasts longer, like sugar, oil, salt, or sodium benzoate. I think we can all agree that getting those two things mixed up would just be awkward. And then there's also one of my favorite funny ones. What is this? This is a pickle. And those pesky red dots you sometimes wake up with on your face? No, those are not pickles. Those are zits or pimples. Number 5, British versus American spelling. And now for a quick history lesson. Back in 1776, on the 4th of July, America proclaimed its independence from Britain. A war ensued, you might have heard of it, and a new nation was born. Okay, I can't do that voice anymore. After this happened, Noah Webster came onto the scene. He thought that America needed to separate itself from Britain and show that the country had its own unique culture. Plus, he thought that words should be spelled more like they sound. So, when he wrote the Webster's Dictionary, he played around with some of the words. This is a huge reason why spelling to this day is different across the pond. Words to watch out for: humor, flavor, behavior, neighbor, and many other words that end in OUR in British English just end in OR in American English. Another common difference is that many words ending in RE in British English, for example, center, theater, and leader, are spelled ending in ER in American English. Again, much thanks to Mr. Webster. And then there are also some standalone words that you just have to learn are different. For example, in British English, sulfur is spelled with a PH, and in American English, it's spelled with an F. In addition, there's aluminum in American English, whereas the British word has an extra I in there, which is why it's pronounced aluminium. So basically what we're trying to say here is that the spelling of the English language was created just to punish the people of this world and drive you all crazy. And even when Mr. Webster tried to reform the spelling to make it look more like it sounds, I don't think he really did a good enough job. Thanks so much for watching. Now get out there and spell, spell, spell. Hey, I just realized that word has a double meaning too. Spell as in to write out the letters of a word, and spell as in a magical charm. The dictionary is really your friend. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen!